Welcome back to Franchise Hockey Manager 11 with the Philadelphia Flyers. Start of episode 7 on the face of the franchise. We now start the 2029-2030 season, and Vancouver once again is the favorites. They end up letting them down last season, but the season before they managed to win the first championship that they've ever had. Second in line is Detroit Red Wings, and third is Buffalo, but Buffalo didn't do that great last season anyways. I mean, goals for, yeah, but it looks like they end up going through a decent amount of change throughout the offseason, so I don't think that they're going to be as threatening as what it leads us to believe. Top defender in the league is Cale Makar still, Quinn Hughes, and Rasmus Dahlin. And then goalies, again, none of ours get noticed at all. We did make some changes during this offseason. Not too many, but we'll go in length of some of those. We managed to make a couple trades. We traded Briskalov's son, who was only a 0.5 star, for a 5th round, and then they end up releasing him almost immediately after, so that does seem kind of odd that they would even be willing to accept that offer. We then flipped Kolosov. We parted ways with him just because of his contract. I just see it being more of an issue down the road, but it looks like they also let him go as well. Why would they let him go? We could sign him for a 2-year, 1.17, so we'll consider that if our current goalie or current backup does not produce the way that he should. We also gave up Powell as well, but Powell looks like he's at least starting for their AHL team respectively, or will probably play for their AHL team. And looking at the roster as of today, it's going to look a little bit like this. Carson's going to be the backup for Knight. We have Benson on the bottom line with Banak and Surin on the right wing. Barkey's getting the nod as the second line, and Stenberg and Misa as the third line there. Demidov, Ripken, and Forster on the second line, and then Tippett, Luchenko, and Michkov at the top. With Smith, Drysdale, Yerix is a new signing as well, so we'll show you a little bit about him. Sutherland is also playing his second season with us. Svozil as well, and Gill get the nod. Prudhomme looks like he's going to start on the bench. Same thing with Zada and Ginla, so they'll probably end up rotating when we see fit. But we'll take a closer look at who we ended up drafting this season as we hunt for more certainty, I guess. I'll show you our depth chart as well later on. But we ended up getting Ronberg with the 30th pick. He was projected to be 4th overall, so looks kind of decent though. Much better than a 30th overall. Maybe his getting open, shooting accuracy is a little bit off there, but his defensive rating is pretty good, and he can kind of play more or less anywhere. He even could be an offensive player if we needed it, but hopefully he can at least produce defensively over the next couple of years. I think a year or two in the SHL will definitely bolster those stats as well. The only thing that we don't need is obviously face-offs, but he could probably play any position, so it's kind of crazy. Next in line was Schumacher. We didn't really need a goaltender, but we managed to get him anyways. His reflexes are solid. His professionalism and determination are pretty solid. 3.5 star potential. He was projected to go 25th, and we got him twice as down the road of that, 63rd overall. So I will take that all day. Vic also is a prospect that we ended up getting already in the QMJHL. He ends up getting 4 points, 4 goals in 2 games. Is pretty solid. He was projected to go 70th. We got him with the 72nd pick. And stamina is pretty good. Face-offs also pretty good. Puck handling pretty good. And it does look like he can be a playmaker or a up-and-down winger, which I think is probably what he's going to be if he plays with us. I will present another issue that we found throughout this season, or this off-season. We managed to get also Vitral with our 3rd pick, projected to go 50th, so a 2nd round pick. Doesn't look all that great. I mean, his determination and temperament is pretty good, and professionalism, and the same thing with puck handling, but there's definitely a lot of holes here. But he is only 18, so obviously he can only improve from that point. We also got Svensson, A left and right winger, currently 7 games, 59 grade. That's not a good start. But 87th overall is what he's projected, and we got him with 95. I mean, his defensive read looks pretty good. So does his physicals, and his determination also. Only 2.5 star, but that can always change regardless. And then for our last pick, we ended up getting Ivan Kratsiuk. Not too bad. 3 games already, 57 grade. Managed to get him with the 7th pick. The only reason why I got him was because I saw the 154, and I was like, might as well take a chance at him. I don't see him getting any game time over the foreseeable future. But looking at our depth chart here, Valentini is not yet signed with us. I'll give him another season, but he should probably play for us next season. A two-way forward is exactly what we need on this roster. Creston's going to start in the AHL. Martin still not signed as well, and Torquay. So we do have a decent amount of players. Even again, like is getting the nod over Potov, who's 2 years older. Eklund's not getting the nod, and Victor's just going to start in the AHL just for the beginning of the season. But injuries always happen, and he should find his way to the team. That's for sure. Prudhomme third best. I don't know why the AI is getting him to start on the bench. Yeah, he should be getting the nod right away, but we'll make the adjustments necessary. Game 1 that we end up playing is against the Islanders. We've had a decent record against them, but let's see if we can manage to start this off in good fashion. 7-1, maybe that's why Prudhomme is sitting on the bench. Luchenko gets his first, Svozil, Benak, and then Rybkin, Benson, and Sotheran. We do give up it to Dobson before Sotheran scores. Sotheran, sneaky attacking defenseman. He put up much more than what I expected last season with 44 points in 72 games. So definitely hoping to see a little bit more from him over the course of the season. But we decided that we're all in on Spencer Knight, and he's going to be at the helm for the foreseeable future. Drysdale's now hurt after signing an extension. That's one of the areas that I did not focus on. We did end up making some extensions. Rybkin, $4.5 million. Benak, $1.5 million, and then Sada for $1.5 million. That might be the reason why they're starting as of now. We did extend Drysdale just for a little bit more than what he's making now, so it is kind of shitty that he does get hurt so soon after signing. We did extend Svozil as well for 1.6, and Sotheran I think we ended up extending as well, or we had him for just under $1 million. Carson, this is last season as well, or last 2 seasons for us, but we'll take a quick look at the NHL. It is pretty interesting to see. We'll look at the 2023-2024 draft, the Connor Bedard draft, as everyone knows, and currently 7th overall Michkov is second place, 356 points in 363 games. It's pretty good. Obviously, Bedard is a little bit better than that, but it's all right with us. Devin Barkey, surprisingly, 3rd round pick, is pretty much top 10, 176. He could easily surpass these players. Players like Leo Carlson. That is insane. Zach Benson just below him, but has played 399 games. So over 100 games more is still trailing Barkey. That's how good he's been for us. So we'll end up having to monitor both those players, but that draft is definitely the one to kind of focus on. Carson's going to get his very first start for us against Toronto, and he wins 5-1. Barkey, like we just talked about, scores another goal. Forster, Tippett, and Surin, and then Tippett again. Toronto was no match, so back-to-back wins to start the season off is a good sign. New York Islanders on the bottom, though, as a result of that one loss, and Toronto also at the bottom. But does look like Buffalo Sabres are at the top as well. Vancouver Canucks started off with a loss, and doesn't look like they should be necessarily favorites if you can't win the first game. Now facing off against Detroit, we do win 3-2, probably overtime yet. Michkov gets his first, Misa, and then Aginla actually gets a goal there as well. Forster is now hurt, and that'll be a blow. Should be out 1 to 2 weeks. You know what? We'll move him to the IR because it only makes sense. Prudhomme's day to day. Drysdale day to day. I might move Prudhomme as well. At least give the nod to some of our youngsters. Maybe I'll put Prudhomme to the IR as well. Looks like they just brought up another forward. So 3 games, 3 wins, and now we face off against Tampa. Tampa, who had our number last season. Adjust it again. Doesn't look like they're bringing up a defender. Actually, I'll do it right before the game. Once more, St. Louis also 3-0, and LA 2-0. But LA being the team that ended up beating us last season, I'm really hoping that they end up getting a serious injury that derails them from how good they did last season. I think we had their number throughout the whole season, but it wasn't until the end that it kind of was our demise. 5-4, we suffer our first loss in regulation, and then Luchenko gets his second. Bobby Brink now signed with them. I was looking at his contract as well. 4.5 for 3 years, not too bad. Tippett gets a goal there, Misa and Barkey as well, but unfortunately not good enough to be 4-0, and we're now 3-1 after 4 games. Knight still has 2 wins, and Carson ended up getting a shutout his first game. I don't understand how that's possible. Oh no, 1 goal against, sorry. Thought it said 0 for a second. It's like, oh yeah, we did win 5-1. We'll give him another shot as well. Against Florida. Kind of change things up a bit. Demonov on the top. And Benson can only play on the left though. Same thing with Barkey. We'll leave it as that. See how that looks. 6-1 loss, so for once it doesn't work. Stenberg being the only one getting the goal there. 6-1 against Florida, so Carson not doing too good on his second start. But Panthers aren't a slouch team either. Both have the same record. And now we end up facing off against Columbus, but we will hopefully have Drysdale for that game. It would really suck if we somehow end up losing it for that. And we bump down now to 4th place, which is to be expected. And Bonk looks like he comes up, but means that he'll probably have to clear waivers when he gets sent back down. We win 5-3, so he bounced back from those 2 losses. Luchenko, Svozil, Luchenko, and Rybkin before Luchenko getting his hat trick. That was a good game for him for sure. So we bounce back with a Luchenko hat trick, and now we end up facing against Dallas. Luchenko top 2 in terms of points, and top 5 in terms of goals. So not bad at all. That top line is definitely producing an insane amount of points. Now we end up heading to Dallas and then Vegas on the road. And I mean, Dallas doesn't look too good, but Vegas could always be one of those teams that we need to worry about. If we can win the first game, we lose 8-2. So be it. Tippett and Surin are the only ones that score in the first before we completely collapse for the rest of the game. 4-3 is what our record is after 7 games. Prudhomme now gonna jump back onto the roster, which means that we need to move one of our players, probably Bonk, and I can almost guarantee you that he gets picked up. Now we head off to Vegas and we try our luck there. And that's a weird pick. I'll show you one of the decisions that I think it was the Leafs that ended up happening. If I can remember which player it was. is very odd. I'm going to have to look at it. Might not have been them. But there's a... Oh, Detroit, actually. Detroit ended up trading. Transaction log. We'll go through trades here. They ended up trading Pinelli for a second, and then within the same day, turn around and then trade him for a second, which is insane. The same exact day. You'd think that it would be more of like a 3-player trade. But what's weird is almost a year to the day he got traded away for a second as well. So that guy just loves getting traded for second round picks. Game against Vegas here, 9-4, causing us less of a struggle than Dallas did. Rybkin with his third and fourth, and then Michkov with his second for Tippett, Stenberg, Michkov, and then Demidov with his first, Misa also, and then Tippett with his sixth. Tippett getting older, but still 3.5 player. And he's showing that deservedly so, he should be on the top line. Demidov just can't take him off that line. He's just producing left, right, and center. Knight with 4 wins there, and we're 5-3. Wow, Leafs are 1-5, and Rangers are still 3-3. Rangers haven't really done anything over this whole save, so not much of a rival if you ask me. It'll be interesting to see if there's another rivalry that ends up developing as a result of that. 6-5 loss in regulation, so no points there. Prudhomme gets his first, and then the second we get goals by Smith, Luchenko, and then the third just Tippett. But we end up losing 6-5, and we head to Seattle now. So just a couple games on the road is not ideal. We're 1-2 on the road on this streak, and hopefully we can manage to beat Seattle here. Carson, big test here. Might end up sending him down. 5-4 win. Let's check his grade out. Stenberg, Michkov, and Misa end up scoring in the first, and then Gill and Rybkin score in the third. 69 grade. I don't think that's that great for us. Grade this season is a 59. I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to have to sign back Kolosov for a very good deal. And we're going to have to send down Carson to the AHL. Yeah, we just can't do it. So we managed to get him for a 5th. And, oh, he's on waivers now. Oops. Did not realize that. He might end up getting picked up. But so be it. He isn't producing very well. Through 10 games, we're 6-4, but 4 goals against is not an ideal start for us with the youngster. We just don't have time for him to develop. And like I said, if he ends up getting picked up by another team, so be it. But I think he spends one more season in the AHL, and who knows, we might end up trading away or even putting him on waivers next season for Kolosov. But it does look like he clears waivers, I believe. Yeah, still on the same team, so his production definitely probably scared off some players or some teams. So we'll play against Nashville and Edmonton here just for the win. If we manage to get it, we'll probably stop it at this point. So 6-3 we managed to get. Surin and Michkov for Gill, and Gill with 2 in the second, and then Rybkin and Forster end up scoring as well. Edmonton's now gonna come home, and at least we end up getting 2 back-to-back games at home. I feel as though if we have enough in our pocket, we'll be able to do wonders throughout the stretch. So we do have Edmonton and then Tampa right after. Gonna keep the same roster that we had for that. We do win 8-1. Wow, Benson getting his second, Tippett with his 8th, Drysdale with his second, Tippett scores again for his 9th, and then Smith was his 2nd. So Tippett gets a hat trick. Smith almost gets a hat trick. Søren's name is just too similar to his. And throughout 12 games, we now claim the top spot, 8-4 in our division, and 5th spot in the league. LA now top team, definitely the team to beat. Scott Gomez is their GM, and we're going to take a look at how well our team's playing so far. Luchenko with 20 and 12, Tippett with 17, Michkov with 14. So starting off strong early, I'd like to see that. Misa now with 12, and then Demonov with 11. So sneaky, not scoring, but getting a lot of assists there. Søren with 10, that's a joy. And then Smith with 10 as well. Drysdale only played 10 games, but a point per game. And Southern on the second line there, getting 10 points as well. Exactly what we want to see there. Goalies, Kolsov has played 1 game, 911 save percentage. Not bad at all. And then Spencer Knight, 9 games, 6-3-0 with 888. So that definitely is going to need a little bit of working throughout this season. But let's jump to the trade deadline and see where we are there. With the 66 games in the books, we currently are in 2nd place, giving up our top spot to Washington Capitals. Granted, they are the top of the league as well. 41 wins, 22 losses, and 3 overtime losses. Not too bad now that we see Tippett has 78 points on the season and 40 goals, just inching his way closer to McTavish. We did manage to make 1 signing. We did trade away Suonami, who we weren't going to end up signing next year anyways, 23-year-old, but towards the bottom of the totem pole anyways. So we ended up sending him away. We ended up getting Pavel Mintyukov from Anaheim. Pretty decent. I do think he's more of an offensive threat, but he can obviously play defense there. But currently, he is. We're going to put him onto the IR to start this off, but mostly for the postseason is the reason why we end up getting him. Now, looking at some of the players that are available in not free agency, but in I don't even know who that is. Nikita Kwap. Never heard of that guy. We did make an offer for Sillinger, but it's just a little bit too rich for us. Luke Evangelista, we could possibly make an offer for as well. But like I said, a lot of these trade block things, yeah, they just want the moon, the star, and the stars before they'll end up giving anything for these players. So sometimes it's good to hunt, and sometimes we can get deals, but usually it's just for older players. I'd say the only thing we really need is probably a right winger. I did try and get Luke Hughes earlier, but it is comforting to see that he will be a free agent next season. So we might end up making an offer for him as well. Owen Power, kind of the same deal. Not with Buffalo though, which is kind of shocking. Doesn't look like he developed into the player that I think anyone would have thought. Suoniemi still on the trade block though. I don't even know why they would make that offer then. Farabee's there, kind of going downhill though at 30. Only 2.5 star, only 15 points in 63 games. So we might have been a bit early on it, but does look like we kind of made the right decision moving on from him. I don't see any right wings. Tanner, we could. I mean, he's only 54 graded, so probably not an ideal candidate for us. William Karlsson with the ECHL right now. Where did he end up signing after us? He ended up signing with Chicago afterwards. That looked like 3 seasons after, maybe? I don't know where he's been playing since then. I'm not even going to try and say his name, but he could be a candidate as well as we're closing in. But I mean, looking at our team, I feel as though we should be decent. It does say we're good in goal. Left, I think it just looks like center and right D are the only areas that we would probably need to improve on. But I do think that getting Pavel, that will definitely fix that. Going against Calgary here, managed to lose the first game. We won this game now. 5-2 victory. They're not doing too hot either. Pardon the pun there. Victor getting his second before Benson getting his 7th. That is criminally low. And then Stenberg getting his 19th before Tippett getting his 41st and 42nd. So looks like that should probably put him a little bit ahead of I forget who it is. Sorry, McTavish. That's why I forgot it. I don't know why it was blanking right then, but McTavish doesn't look like he's much of a points getter, considering 42 goals, and I don't really see him in terms of the points total, or at least Tippett is kind of half and half. He'll get your assists, and you also get your goals as well. Moving closer to the trade deadline, we will make another look at it and see who we want to kind of make a trade for, and I mean, I don't think anything's going to jump out at us. We're going to have to eye 1-year contracts. Sillinger's still one of those players that I kind of do want. I think I want more so for the future, though, than necessarily this season. Just not sure what I'd want to have to give up. One of our goalies will make that. No, it doesn't look like it changed anything. I feel as though we'd have to give like a first or something. Let's give up a 4th. Yeah, they're not willing to do that. I mean, he's a decent goalie, so they should be. And what's the point of putting him on the trade block if you don't actually want to trade him? Jack Quinn, I don't think he's defensively sound for us. Josh Down, a bit older though. We did make an offer for him before. Josh Down for Tobias Kreestand. And they did accept it. But I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on that. He is still 22. So I guess we'll kind of leave that as is. And our gap is only 3 points, but the Capitals have a game at hand still. And I'm just really hoping that we end up at least facing them. We do face them very soon. So it can at least bridge that gap just a little bit. Face off against Chicago. And we win 5-2. That is what we like to see. Southern with his 11th. Misa scores his 22nd. And then Barkey, Yerix, and Surin all get on the score sheet to end the game there. It does make it within 1 point, but 2 games at hand. And this game is going to matter a lot. So with that game, bumps up to 3. And this one's going to be probably for all the marbles, whether or not we can finish ahead of them. So it's probably one of the most important games of the series coming up, or season at least. We do win 6-3. So at least our head-to-head's good. Ribkin, Bonk, Stenberg, Drysdale, and Smith score before Benson gets his 8th shorthanded too. Does make the gap only 1, but they do have a game at hand. I'm just hoping that we end up getting them on a streak here. We do face New York coming up in the next couple days, and I mean 91 and 92 is still pretty good. But it kind of came out of nowhere because Capitals haven't really been that much of a threat as of late. Kemp is their goaltender, and 40 wins, so bridges it up to 3, and I mean, I guess the win didn't really impact that much. Demidov looks like he should be back off of his bruised foot. Do face off against New York Rangers. Lose 4-3 and in regulation, so we end up losing that point. Smith, Michkov, and Barkey with the lone goals there. That's going to be rough. We have 12 games remaining, and we will have to probably win every single game there to probably finish first. I'll look at Capitals and see what they were last season, because this seems to be kind of a shock. Tippett now losing ground on Bedard and McTavish for the top spot there. And I don't think he'll be able to catch McDavid. McDavid's just too far ahead. But he is in the top of assists though, which is kind of cool as well. So Capitals end up finishing last season with 36 wins, really? 36, 34, 37, and now all of a sudden are tearing it up. bad luck. We're down by 5 points now, facing off against Carolina and then Buffalo. We win 4-1, so at least we're starting off strong. Michkov with his 25th, Fyodorov with his 3rd, Surin and Tippett both score as well, so Tippett at least adding to his tally there. We face off against Buffalo coming up. Buffalo's in 3rd place. Carolina is just 1 point behind us, but it looks like we're probably destined to end up having to face... Oh no, that was wrong. Unless they just dropped. Yeah, I think they just dropped. So we either face Islanders, Blue Jackets, or Hurricanes, respectively. Doesn't look like... well, actually, we might end up... There might be a chance that another team in our division ends up actually making it. Face off against Buffalo here. We lose pretty bad. Ripken with the only goal there. And now we go back to Toronto. Or Montreal. Oh no. Everyone in the comment section is going to hate on that one for sure. We do have 2 injuries though. And we go to Montreal here. We'll probably end up going on the road now as well. I wouldn't be surprised if back at Florida. That's a very odd road trip. Would have made more sense to face off against Toronto. I guess it's because it's the same division. I didn't realize that Barkey was also hurt. So Barkey and Demidov are both somewhat injured. Knee soreness. Kind of want to put them in IR though. And Misa as well. So I'm just going to put you to IR. And same thing with Barkey. Just means they're going to miss a little bit longer, but does give us a chance to bring someone up. Facing off against Montreal here, we do win 5-1. We're still in the hunt somewhat. Adam Banak ends up playing for us, gets a 2nd goal. Michkov with his 26th. Southern and Stenberg score as well, and then Aginla ends up scoring the dagger at the very end. Still down by 5 points, and they have a game in hand. I don't think it's destined for us, but we might as well get the points. Keep on rolling. Just not even just for pride, but more so just to guarantee and to ensure that we end up getting a higher seed if it ends up becoming a tiebreaker, which I think is very possible. Now at Florida, we end up losing again on the road shootout, so we at least get 1 point there. We only scored in the first, Yerix and Demidov with goals respectively. And 4 points. That if we end up winning that one, we would have had a chance there. So now it looks like everyone's back. This is going to be very rough. Someone's going to get sent down, that's for sure. And they should all be healthy. And it looks like Smith is the odd man out at the moment. We'll have to adjust it just before. 6 points now is the gap. 7 now. And yeah, we're not going to be able to catch them. We'll just play our game now. It does look like Smith now plays now with Mintyokov. He's now on the 2nd line. Smith is on the top. Southern is now the pairing with him. So that should be fine. We face Boston now. 4-2 win. We might think to start our backup for most of these games. Remaining Drysdale with his 11th, Bonk with his 2nd, Prudhomme 7th, and then Drysdale with his 12th. So not the usual suspects on that one for sure. Does put us to 98 points. We can definitely hit 50 again. I think that kind of is the goal every single season, is get 50 wins. Anything more than that is definitely a positive. And Chicago's still trending towards the bottom. It's absolutely insane when you look at a player like Bedard. I'm going to have to look at his contract to really try and make sense of this. But we'll end up looking at it now, actually. Bedard's contract is not even that bad. At least not that bad this season. It's only going to get more tricky next season. 14.5. That is probably the most that I've seen out of any player at the moment. don't think I've seen a contract that high yet. Yeah, only 14 or 11.4, sorry. That's still crazy though. Where will it show me? No. I'll have to take a look at probably the cap and kind of tinker through. I mean, Jack Eichel's making 13. I think we're just not privy to it because we don't pay our players nearly as much at the moment. Matthew's making 13, Nylander 11, Pettersson 11. There as well. And defender, I guess that's Dahlin. Dahlin's making 11. 10 for Huberto, but that's a waste of a contract. Oh yeah, 14 there. 12 for McKinnon, or 12 and a half for McKinnon. That's going to be a pretty penny. 14 for Draisaitl. So Draisaitl's actually making, well, decent amount more than McDavid there. And 10 for Patrick Laine. Cole Caulfield's only making 7.5. Jack Hughes 10. But yeah, that is absurd. Obviously, he is worth it if you look at the stats, but it does make it more difficult to end up getting players for that. 6-1, so clearly it didn't matter. He did get the only goal though. Oh no, actually they beat us. Oh my god, so he got 1, 2, and almost 3, so it's like they were listening to us. I don't know why I thought that we won that one. But 6-1, yeah, definitely paying that price tag for sure. Not that we need the wins at the moment, but that's still insane. At least we don't really have to deal with the threat of him beating us in the playoffs or anything. 7-4 win, Luchenko, Fyodorov, and then Southern Fyodorov again. So Fyodorov's starting to show up. It looks like he got a hat trick, and then Tippett with his 44th. That's crazy. Tippett now with 44 does put him in 4th spot. Looks like Bedard definitely is going to run away with it. Yeah, and Fyodorov ended up getting a hat trick there. Just like we have to swap with Kolosov. And 6-3 win there. Prudhomme with his 8th. Southern, Ribkin, and Smith end up scoring in the 2nd. And then the 3rd is nothing but Michkov and Stenberg. Face off against St. Louis now. St. Louis is currently 2nd place in their division, so kind of the same spot that we're at. Only 4 games remaining in the regular season, but it looks like we're destined for another postseason and hopefully a better ending to last season. 7-0. As I say that, Michkov with his 28th, Luchenko, Bonk, Tippett with 2, with 3 actually in the 2nd, and then Demidov with his 21st. No one scores in the 3rd. It's like we just decided to stop playing at that point and show a little bit of mercy. And we now turn our attention against Washington here for the last 3 games. Washington's one of them. And let's see. They continue once more. Yeah, Toronto's still kind of a bottom feeder on this. I mean, 73 points isn't that bad. They're still around 500, but at least commit to it and be like Florida and at least go for the bottom. Because they've had a decent opportunity at drafting too. They had one of the top spots not that long ago, actually. So let's see if we can manage to win away from home here. We do 7-5. So Ribkin, Stenberg end up making it a match there before Fyodorov, and then we show up and shell out in the 3rd period. Demidov, Tippett, and Stenberg, and then Luchenko with his 27th. Not too bad. And taking a look at the development here, Vic's starting to look pretty good. Janssen looks good as well. Doesn't look like Schumacher's really developing that well. And let's see if anyone's really regressed. And no one's regressed, so that's good. Vitral, concussion out indefinite. And just figures that the Farabee trade, the guy ends up getting injured. At least we're selling jersey sales, that's all I can say. We face off against Ottawa, so it's not going to end easy for us. We only have 2 games left. Ottawa's one of them. And I'm very curious to see who's going to be the other one. So obviously our GM is or our owner's happy. We only have 2 games left. Hopefully we can end on a positive note. And we don't suffer any more serious injuries. 7-3 win against Ottawa. Forster, Rybkin in the first, Rybkin and Demidov in the second, and then Smith with 2 and Michkov with his 29th of the season. Now Benson's hurt. Fantastic. Benson's out for 1 to 2 months. I said no more injuries, guys. So that is unfortunate. Michkov is also hurt and Misa is as well. But they're day to day. And the last game, who's it going to be? It's against New Jersey. New Jersey's currently 6th place. They're going to want to lose this one anyways, so we do have a chance. As it closes in, Tippett now with 48. In 3rd place, not too bad. We'll take a look at our roster after. Last game, and we end up losing 5-2. That is upsetting. Spencer Gill with his 7th. And Rybkin with his 32nd. That's extremely disappointing. Just as extremely disappointing as a fractured elbow for Drysdale. Drysdale is out this season. Oh my god. So we're not going to delay it. Obviously a fractured elbow you can't play anyways. But that win would have put us in 1st. So to add insult to injury, we could have had a shot at being the top team in our conference, at least in our division, or actually just our division. And Minnesota Wild finished 1st, Canadiens 2nd, Capitals 3rd, and Flyers 4th. Take a look at the stats to end the season. 94 points, 80 games for Tippett, 88 for Michkov, so just a little bit less than his career high. But he did play every game despite being injured, so 91 was his best. So this is his 2nd best, but lacking in the goal department. That is definitely an area we're going to need to look at more in the future. Luchenko with 81, also an assist machine. Rybkin with 69, Demidov with 64, so career year for him. Fantastic. He's now, well, he's still only a 3-star. Miso is 62. So better than last year, he just keeps improving. Smith with 59, Stenberg with 48, and Sutherman with 46. Surin ends up scoring 43 points, which is pretty good. And Pavel Mintyukov plays 6 games for us and gets 4 points. Looking at goalie stats here, and 65 games is a decent amount for Spencer Knight at 28. 902 save percentage, 40 wins, 20 losses, and 3 overtime losses as well. Kolosov playing fairly well with 19 games, 11 wins, 5 losses, and 1 overtime loss for a 906. Goals against are roughly around the same, so I can't really complain about that. But Spencer Knight top 4 in terms of wins as well. Misa looks like he should be back soon, and Terrence Smith nominated for the Norris. That is the first time that I've seen him, which is pretty good. And let's see if we get anything else. No other recognition, so we'll leave it at that. I don't even know who we're going to play, so it's all a mystery to us. We're not even going to focus on the standings right now. Going to be Columbus. I'm not sure how our season played against them, but I think we should be able to run away with the win here. Montreal's going to win probably a close match between Tampa Bay. I mean, Washington should, realistically. I think we beat Columbus, and Buffalo's probably going to beat Ottawa. Edmonton, I think, beats LA. I don't think LA's going to have a repeat. I'm going to go San Jose comes back. Colorado wins this one, and Blackhawks. Blackhawks actually made the playoffs. Blackhawks are definitely going to win now. It just has to happen now that we face them in the finals and lose. So throughout the season, we managed to win the first 3 and then drop the last one in December, but we haven't played them in a while, so this will be the ultimate test. First game is at home. We managed to lose 7-3, not the start we wanted. I'm not even going to go through the stats. They don't deserve it for that game. 7-3 loss. I think losing our defender is definitely going to be a massive blow. Luchenko also on the edge of returning. And Barkey suspended. That one's going to hurt. Only for 1 game, though. So face off against Columbus, second game here. We win 7-1, so we reverse it on them. Stenberg there, Ribkin and Pavel with the goal. And then Bonk, Misa, and Tippett and Ribkin with the goal there as well. So managed to at least even it out a little bit. We head to Columbus now. Let's see if we can manage to win on the road. Being on the road, we haven't looked necessarily that great, but can always change in the playoffs. Game 3, 7-4 win. What's with all these 7s? We end up going down 2-0 before coming alive in the second. Spencer Gill, Forster with 3 in the second, and then Pavel also there as well. Tippett gets his third, and Barkey, we welcome him back with a goal, assisted by Michkov. So game 4, now at Columbus. Let's see if we can manage to get a win here. Looks like Michkov is injured as well. Prudhomme's injured, and everyone's injured. Now we face off against Columbus, away from home again, another 7 probably, and 7-3 once more. That is ridiculous. Luchenko, Barkey, and Pavel, and Tippett in the second there. Forster, Bonk, and Smith there in the third to just wind the lead there. We're up 3-1. LA's also up 3-1. And Chicago leads 3-2. Yeah, I knew that they're going to make the finals now that I made that comment. And now we go back home. Let's see if we can win at home 4-2. And we cruise by the first round there after dropping the first game, but winning everything else. Michkov with his first. Misa ends up scoring, and Ribkin as well before Tippett scores his 5th. Around the league, it does look like Blackhawks are probably going to win that one. I was right about Colorado. Completely wrong about San Jose. They are like a dead fish out of water. And then LA looks like they're coasting for that one. Tampa managing to beat Washington. That's rather interesting. And then Senators sweep Buffalo, and same thing with Montreal. So there's a huge gap between skill levels there for sure. Series tied, Washington should prevail. Series tied with Blackhawks as well, and LA ends up coasting through. Tampa Bay ends up winning it, which means that Minnesota knocks out. Wow, fantastic. So Bedard without a playoff series win there. Off-ice incidents are ridiculous in this game as well. It just happens too often. So with Tampa this season, we managed to lose the first game, won the second one, and then lost the third one. So hopefully, I think all of them, whatever the home team was, won. So let's start this off at home and get the win. We win 4-1 here. Surin, Michkov in the first, or in the second actually. No one scores in the first. Bobby Brink scores against us, and then Stenberg gets 2 there. I wouldn't be surprised if Stenberg was the player that we end up getting him for. Southern now injured. Not ideal. And we're up 1-0. LA up 1-0 as well. Would be nice to see Minnesota go deep too. And Southern now going to rest for us. I don't like how we come back just before games, so I have to reset the AI again, but that is something that I kind of wish they would fix. And people that are regressing, tip it just a little bit, so I'm fine with that kind of regression. Only one thing at a time. We face off against them again at home, get a series lead here too, and we break the streak of home team winning all the time. We managed to tie in regulation only to lose Bernac and Barkey with the only goals there. Series tied at 1. LA's now leading 2-0. And Montreal should win. A Battle of Canada there. And I don't even know about the Minnesota game. Hall of Fame nominees. I think this happens like every year at the wrong time. Dale Hunter, Nicholas, we'll do McGillney. How about that? 2-0 Minnesota, 2-1 lead for Ottawa. Southern's still not back. We now go to Tampa, and we managed to win 5-0. That is very comfortable. Tippett with a 6, Surin and Forster score before Bonk and Surin score again. We end up leading the series 2-1. Minnesota up 3-1 and Ottawa up 3-1. Let's go back and win this one. Yeah, 3-1. Series lead 3-1 now. Bonk and Yerex before Tippett scores the dagger at the end. It looks like empty goal as well. 4-0, so Ottawa leads as well. Montreal out of the playoffs. See if we can win at home here. 6-1, so we managed to do the same kind of record that we did before. Demidov finally on the score sheet here. Tippett with his 8th, and then Forster, Demidov, Michkov, and Luchenko in the second. Nothing in the third though. And it does look like Minnesota's going to win this one as well, and we end up meeting Ottawa in the conference finals there. Series tied. It's kind of Minnesota Wild should make it through. There's no reason why they shouldn't. I would be shocked if they don't. Minnesota has such a crazy team this year. Like, it wasn't even close who was second. And we now go to Ottawa. Or no, we're at home actually. 5-2 win here, 4-3 and 7-3. So the home team wins every single time. And let's hope that happens with this series as well. 9-2 to start this off. Stenberg, Tippett, Barkey, Bionk, and Rybkin in the first, Surin in the second, and then Misa with 2 and Rybkin in the third. LA leads though. It could be LA final again. If it's the same final, that would be wild. Game 2 here. 7-0. Barkey with his 5th, Luchenko with his 3rd. Michkov, Pavel, Michkov again, and Forster in the second, and then Tippett gets his 10th in the third. Barkey now injured. Day-to-day shoulder strain. Should be able to play through it though. 2-0 series lead. Benson is now back though. Drysdale's still out for 2 months. He's not going to be back for this postseason. That is for sure. Series tied now. I mean, I don't know who I'd rather play. Would we want redemption against a team that beat us last season, or would we rather the harder team? Now we go to Ottawa here, and the streak continues. We end up losing 5-3. Tippett with 2. Tippett and Bernac before Tippett and Luchenko, but they overpowered us for sure in the third there. 2-1 series lead, and LA leads 2-1 as well. Go back to Ottawa here. Barkey's still injured. Managed to win. We break the streak, and we managed to win there. Luchenko, Demidov get on the score sheet before Tippett with 2, Demidov and Misa as well. So it does look like we have a 3-1 lead. We can now win at home, and hopefully that's all she wrote. LA leads 3-1 as well. Let's see who can make it to the finals first. Barkey's still out, and 3-1 loss, so we won't end up winning at home here. 3-2 for LA still. And now Demidov's hurt day to day. Jammed finger. He should be able to play through it. These injuries are always annoying in the postseason. 4-3 loss here. That is insane. I'm not even going to look at any of the stats. I'm just so perturbed to give up such a lead. No goals in the first and only 1 in the second. LA is in the finals, and now we have to find a way to meet them there. Demidov's still injured, but Barkey looks like he's back, but not playing. He's at 80% as well. Alright, let's see if we can win at home here, and we don't. That is ridiculous. This whole team should be ashamed of themselves. We end up losing in overtime. Fyodorov with the first goal, Bonk and Tippett with 2, and then we just come undone in the third. That is ridiculous. Come on, guys. You are much, much better than that. I don't see Michkov anywhere. I'm going to be the hardest on him. I don't really care who wins now. I kind of want LA now to win both. That's ridiculous. LA lead 1-0. It's going to be a cakewalk for them. Again, all the injuries is just piles up. I know I can change the setting on it, and I might even look to do that in the future, but it does get kind of annoying. Ottawa up 2-1. If they end up winning, I'm going to be even more pissed. They're probably going to win now. Just because a 3-1 series lead is not good enough, and he can't win at home either. Three-1 lead, yeah, they're going to win. Oh my god. We would have been able to win this one easily. Unless it reverses like it just did. But that is insane. I don't really care about the Hall of Fame or the clicks. Marc-Andre Fleury, obviously. Jaromir Jagr, Brent Burns. All the younger ones that I know, and Ryan Suter. I have to. Would be surprising if they end up actually getting inducted. 3-2, and now 4-2. So Ottawa wins their very first one. Still kind of ridiculous. I'm not bitter, just disappointed. And taking a look at how well we did in the playoffs, I mean, Tippett, 29 in 17 games. That is insane. Forster even showed up with 20. And then Ripken with 19. Michkov with a point per game, but not enough goals there. Bonk with 17, so point per game as well. Stenberg, pretty much the same. So we did show up and shell out, but not good enough. Let's see how goaltenders ended up doing. 11, 4, and 2. 920 save percentage, so he still played pretty well as well. So that does kind of suck. Yeah, hopefully we can manage to hope for better next year. But I mean, this team might stay the same in terms of the core, but we might look at maybe even keeping Pavel for next season. But hopefully you guys like this. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And thank you for watching. Until next time.